Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is also mentioned by name in the Old Testament.
No, he isn't.
It says Muhammadim.
The Hebrew word is Mahmadim, which means altogether lovely or desirable things. Muhammad's name means the praised one. Those are two different words with two different definitions.
If that's Dr. Nike's theory of language, we can prove all kinds of things about Islam. For example, many Muslims say Allahu Akbar in various situations. Some of the Muslims in the audience even yell Allahu Akbar when Zakir Naik claims that Muhammad is mentioned by name in the Song of Solomon. Now, in Arabic, Allahu Akbar means God is greater. But since Dr. Naik believes that Hebrew and Arabic words that sound alike are really the same word, we can finally understand what Muslims are saying when they shout Allahu Akbar. In Hebrew, the word Akbar means mouse. So, when Muslims say Allahu Akbar, they're really saying Allah is a mouse. Zakir Naik used the phonic fallacy to show that Muhammad is mentioned in Song of Solomon 5:16, and his fans responded by shouting, Allah is a mouse. Now let's think about the implications of Dr. Naik's claims. First, this is Solomon's bride talking. So if Solomon's bride is delivering a prophecy about Muhammad, then Solomon's bride is a prophet, according to Dr. Zakir Naik. Second, as we've seen, she's praising a man's body here. This makes perfect sense if she's talking about Solomon, but since Dr. Naik insists that she's talking about Muhammad, he's accusing Solomon's bride of lusting after another man, Muhammad, in a vision given to her by God. Third, if verse 16 is about Muhammad, then Solomon's wife calls Muhammad her beloved. But in chapter 7, verse 10, she says, I belong to my beloved, and his desire is for me. The desire of her beloved is for her. Remind me, who is her beloved, according to Dr. Naik? Her beloved is Muhammad, which means that Muhammad's desire was for Solomon's bride. Since the kind of desire being discussed in Song of Solomon is sexual desire, Muhammad's sexual desire was for Solomon's bride, a woman who had been dead for 15 centuries when Muhammad was desiring her. What do we call a man who lusts after a dead woman? We call him a necrophile. Muhammad, according to Dr. Zakir Naik, was a necrophile. But we can learn even more about Muhammad from Dr. Naik's scandalous translation of Mahmud, because Mahmud is used in many places in the Old Testament. Obviously, if we're going to say that the Hebrew word Mahmud is simply the name Muhammad, we need to be consistent and say that wherever the word Mahmud is used, it's referring to Muhammad. In Ezekiel 24:16, God refers to Ezekiel's wife as the delight of Ezekiel's eyes. But the word delight here, in Hebrew, is Mahmud. According to Dr. Naik, however, the Hebrew word Mahmud shouldn't be translated as delight or lovely because it's a name, the name Muhammad. And if Mahmud means Muhammad and Ezekiel's wife was Mahmud, then Muhammad was Ezekiel's wife. Hence, Muhammad was in a gay marriage with another prophet. And Muhammad was the wife in that relationship. Ezekiel was the man. Muhammad was the wife. Draw your own conclusions there, Muslims. There are only two possibilities here. Either Muhammad was a homosexual and a necrophile, or Dr. Naik is a total moron who's guilty of deceiving his ignorant fans who are too gullible to realize that he has no clue what he's talking about. Which is it? Muslims? Was Muhammad a gay necrophile, or is Dr. Naik a clueless deceiver? It's one or the other, and I'm quite happy with whichever alternative you choose.